Let me tell you about something that almost everyone experiences, but very few people notice. You get a raise. You feel proud, relieved, motivated. For a moment, life feels easier. You tell yourself, finally, things will feel lighter now. But a few months later, nothing feels lighter. Your income increased, but your stress didn't decrease. Where did the raise go? That's what we're talking about today. How lifestyle inflation quietly absorbs every raise, and how to grow income without growing pressure. Welcome to Money Science AR. Let's begin with a simple story. Sarah earns $50,000 per year. She manages fine. Not luxurious, not struggling. After 2 years of hard work, she gets promoted. Her salary jumps to $60,000, $10,000 more per year. She celebrates. She deserves it. Within 6 months, she upgrades her apartment. She leases a slightly nicer car. She upgrades her phone plan. She starts dining out more often. She subscribes to a few premium services. Nothing extreme, just small upgrades, reasonable ones. By the end of the year, her lifestyle now costs almost exactly what her new income provides. Her raise didn't build wealth, it built expectations. That's lifestyle inflation. Lifestyle inflation doesn't feel irresponsible. It feels natural. When income rises, your internal standard of living adjusts. Your brain says, you worked hard, you earned this, and you did. But here's what's happening psychologically. Humans adapt quickly to improved circumstances. It's called hedonic adaptation. The new apartment feels exciting for 3 months. Then it feels normal. The nicer car feels luxurious at first. Then it becomes standard. And once something feels standard, stepping backward feels like loss. Even if it's financially wise. That's how raises disappear. Now let's go deeper. Lifestyle inflation isn't about big luxury purchases, it's about gradual upgrades. Better groceries, more convenient services, higher quality clothes, more frequent travel. Individually, they're small. Collectively, they expand your financial baseline. And once your baseline expands, your required income expands with it. That's when pressure grows. Not because income is low, but because expectations are high. Here's something important. There is nothing wrong with improving your lifestyle. The issue isn't upgrading. The issue is upgrading without intention. Because income growth and wealth growth are not the same thing. Income growth increases earning power. Wealth growth increases freedom. Lifestyle inflation converts income growth into higher expenses. Wealth growth converts income growth into assets. That's the fork in the road. Let's return to Sarah. Imagine a different version of her story. She gets the same $10,000 raise. But instead of upgrading everything, she makes one decision. She keeps her fixed expenses stable for 1 year. She allows only small, controlled lifestyle improvements. She directs half of her raise into investments. Within 3 years, she has built significant savings momentum. Her income increased, but her pressure did not. That's intentional growth. Now let's talk about the emotional side. Why does lifestyle inflation feel so automatic? Because raises change identity. When income increases, people feel more accomplished, more capable, more deserving, and identity seeks expression. Expression often shows up through consumption. The nicer apartment says, I've moved up. The upgraded car says, I'm progressing. Consumption becomes a visible marker of internal achievement, but wealth is invisible. And invisible progress feels less rewarding in the short term. Here's a powerful question. If no one could see your lifestyle upgrades, would you still make them? That question separates signaling from satisfaction. Sometimes the upgrade truly improves quality of life. Sometimes it reinforces social positioning. Being honest about the difference changes outcomes. Now let's examine something subtle. Lifestyle inflation often increases fixed expenses: rent, car payments, insurance, subscriptions. Once fixed costs rise, flexibility shrinks. And when flexibility shrinks, stress increases. Because fixed obligations demand income. They don't adjust when life fluctuates. Income can vary. Expenses rarely do. That mismatch creates pressure. Imagine 2 people earning $80,000. Person A keeps fixed costs low. Person B upgrades aggressively after every raise. If income drops by 10%, who feels more stress? Person B, not because income is lower, but because commitments are higher. This is why reducing obligations often matters more than increasing income, because obligations determine resilience. Here's something most people miss. Lifestyle inflation changes your risk tolerance. When expenses are high, you become more cautious. You hesitate to change jobs, start a business, take calculated risks, invest more aggressively, because your margin is thin. Margin creates courage. Without margin, even good opportunities feel risky. Now let's talk about comparison. Raises don't happen in isolation. You see colleagues upgrading, friends buying homes, neighbors improving lifestyle. Social comparison accelerates lifestyle inflation because normal shifts upward. And once normal shifts, staying the same feels like falling behind. This is psychological pressure, not financial necessity, and it's powerful. Here's the calm truth. True financial growth feels different. It's quieter. It's less visible. It shows up as increasing savings rates, growing investments, expanding options, reduced stress. Those markers don't appear on social media, but they create long-term stability. Now let's shift to solutions. How do you grow income without growing pressure? First, create a delay rule. When you receive a raise, do nothing for 90 days. No upgrades, no new commitments. Let the income increase settle. Observe your natural impulse to expand spending. This pause creates awareness, and awareness creates control. Second, split your raise intentionally. For example, 50% toward investments, 30% toward lifestyle improvement, 20% toward savings buffer, or any structure that feels balanced. The key is not consuming 100% of income growth, because once 100% is consumed, there's no acceleration. Third, protect fixed expenses. Lifestyle upgrades should focus on flexible spending, not rigid commitments. Upgrade experiences, not obligations. Travel occasionally, but don't lock yourself into long-term higher payments unnecessarily. Flexibility protects peace. Fourth, define your enough. Without a clear definition of enough, expansion never ends. Ask yourself, what level of comfort truly improves my life? What upgrades actually matter? What purchases are purely signaling? Clarity limits unconscious expansion. Now let's imagine two futures. Future 1. Income rises steadily, expenses rise equally, savings remain modest, stress remains constant. Future 2. Income rises steadily, expenses rise slowly, savings accelerate, stress decreases. Same raises, different structure, different outcomes. Here's something subtle. Lifestyle inflation doesn't always feel like luxury. Sometimes it feels like convenience. Food delivery instead of cooking, premium memberships instead of standard, faster services, shortcuts. Convenience costs money, and while it saves time, it often increases baseline expenses quietly. Again, the issue isn't using convenience, it's normalizing it permanently. Let's talk about long-term math gently. If you invest half of every raise for 10 years, compounding begins to accelerate. But if you consume every raise, compounding never gains speed. Your lifestyle grows, your assets don't. And assets are what create leverage. Leverage reduces pressure. Now here's the deeper mindset shift. Celebrate raises, but don't let them redefine your identity through spending. Let them redefine your identity through discipline, through asset growth, through stability, through optionality. Optionality is powerful. It means you can walk away from toxic environments. You can take sabbaticals. You can support family without stress. You can invest confidently. That's the real reward of income growth. Let's close with a final story. 10 years from now, two professionals look back. Both received similar raises over the decade. One upgraded lifestyle consistently, the other upgraded selectively. One looks successful externally, the other feels secure internally. The difference isn't income, it's inflation of expectations. Lifestyle inflation is quiet. It doesn't announce itself. It doesn't feel reckless, it feels normal. But normal doesn't always build wealth, intentional does. So the next time you receive a raise, pause, ask, what part of this should improve my life today? And what part should improve my life 10 years from now? That balance determines whether income growth brings freedom or pressure. This is Money Science AR, where we understand the psychology behind money and build wealth calmly, intentionally, and realistically. I'll see you in the next video.